Hi, how's it going? Welcome back.
Monday Night Live.
Heck yeah. This is Neisha Solis-Berry, registered nurse, certified breastfeeding consultant, and health coach. I am Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician, and this is Monday Night Live. You are at the right place. Welcome. How you doing?
I am waiting to pack for KetoCon. So I got all that packing anxiety. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Some of you men maybe don't because your wives pack for you.
Well, now let's just talk about that. So I do not pack properly. So I'm not allowed to pack.
He could if he
She
really
loves to pack, but also develops anxiety in the pre-packing stage. About packing. Yeah, pre-travel.
It's because we have 2 kids, okay? It's not a vacation.
They're pretty good kids. I mean, they're good kids. But I would help pack, but it's never right. So I'm just like,
will you be at KetoCon? Are we going to see you there? Put it in the comment section.
I'm going to be at KetoCon.
Well,
how about you?
I will be there some. Yep. Yes.
Beckett and Bonnie Blue are going to be there as well. We're hoping to see a lot of you guys there. Mitzi Champion, our friend, says, hit the thumbs up and share this on your favorite social media right now. We need to reach some new people who have never heard the good word about a proper human diet. They don't know that there's hope. And you hitting that share button could be the hope. That could be the answer. So please do that. We've got some questions waiting. Are you ready to do some questions?
Let's get to the questions.
Let's do some questions for a solid hour. We're going to answer questions. Are you ready? Set?
Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Altaho. I recently watched a 4-year-old YouTube lecture about melatonin for use in cancer treatment, 180 milligrams a day for prevention, and much more for adjunct therapy or treatment with 0 contraindications. Your thoughts? I have not seen any research supporting this. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I haven't looked into the melatonin literature in a while. This is very exciting if this research does in fact exist. I'll look into that after the show and I'll let you know what I find. Oh, let's see what we got. I know I see. Yes, here we go. Amy. I knew I saw something from Amy.
Been dealing with what I believe is mild
paronychia
on my big toe for a couple of months. It's red and a little swollen at the base of the nail. I've tried drawing salve and antibiotic ointment.
Gotcha. So paronychia is when you get infection under, not at the tip of the nail, but back at the nail bed. And they can be quite impressive looking. I've drained several of these. We use a number 11 blade. And it is nasty, but it's also fun. Now, if this is just a mild little bleb or pocket of fluid there, hot compresses and continuing what you're doing might eventually solve that, because you can have just a serosanguinous or just an inflammatory paronychia. But if it's infectious, if it's a bacteria in there, it's going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger and more painful. And at some point, you'll have to see your doctor about that. Don't be putting stuff under your nail bed. You let your doctor do that.
Jackie, will Ketovore or Carnivore be best to help with symptoms of, wow, we got some big words.
Dysautonomia.
POTS.
Yep, POTS.
I have been dealing with these awful symptoms since October of 2014.
Yeah, we've had several people give us feedback and say that their POTS improved with a carnivore diet that's higher on the fatty side and also plenty of salt, plenty of electrolytes. Don't be shy with the salt at all, Jackie. Eat the fatty red meat until you're full. Make sure it's salted well. Make sure you're getting plenty of electrolytes. And I think you're going to notice your symptoms become less severe.
Kimber, 58-year-old female, down 70 pounds.
Huzzah!
A1C down to 7.2. I have severe varices. Okay. Or just fixed. Will this eventually go away, or will I have it forever?
We've seen many examples of the very small varices, the spider veins, getting much, much better on a proper human diet. Now, if you have the big ropey type of varices, in other words, a big vein that's lost its valvular competency, you're probably not going to fix that with any diet. You're probably going to have a minor surgical procedure to get that fixed. Now, huzzah for losing 70 pounds. Now you're still type 2 diabetic though. So I don't know what your A1C started. I'm glad it's less, but you got to keep going. Keep those carbs as low as you possibly can. And let's get you a normal A1C of less than 5.7.
We may have some furry friends come to visit.
Hi, Olive.
Olive's behind the camera right now. Think for yourself. Hey, I'm 29-year-old male. How much fluctuation in weight is normal? I try to fast a few times a week. Lately, when I eat something, weight will go up 1 to 2 pounds. Other days, not. I've been keto for a few years.
Yeah, for a male, it's perfectly normal for your weight to go up up or down 3 to 5 pounds over the course of the day. Women can go up depending on what you weigh right now. Some women's weight can go up from 5 to 10 pounds up and down over the course of one day. This is fluid, or it's the food you ingested. So what I would recommend you do, think for yourself, is weigh the food you're about to eat and weigh yourself, and then eat the food and then weigh yourself again. Your weight should then be your weight plus the weight of the food, which for most men would be 1 to 2 pounds.
Hey, Betsy.
Hey, Bets.
She's one of our OG subscribers. Let's get Andy. In your opinion, are vegetables and or fruit acceptable ever or always eat carnivore?
So my recommendation to all humans on the planet is to eat a proper human diet. And there are several principles. There's actually a video down in the show notes about the principles of a proper human diet. One of those principles is that it's by definition low carb. So somewhere between 100 total grams of carbs a day, real carbs, real fruit and veg carbs, all the way down to 50 total grams, 20 total grams, 10 total grams, which is Ketovore. This is the mother of Ketovore, by the way. All the way down to 0 total grams of carbs a day, which is a carnivore diet. Depending on your age, your gender, your metabolic status, your hormone status, your gut microbiome, how healthy you are overall, how active you are overall, you fit somewhere on that spectrum, every single human on this planet. And so for some people, they can eat 50, 60, 70 total carbs a day of real one ingredient carbs, broccoli, a few blueberries, and they do just great. Some people, and that's her, she can eat somewhere between, she keeps it very low, almost carnivore to control her Hashimoto's. But if it was just about weight gain,
right, yes,
you could eat 60, 70, 80 grams of carbs a day, and you would not gain weight at all.
No.
Whereas me, even if they were keto friendly carbs, if I ate 50, 60, 70, I'd start to gain weight. And the more carbs, the more weight. So carnivore is not the only option on a proper human diet. Good question.
Summer says, love you, Dr. Barry Neisha.
Summer Bunny, Jesus,
love
number one.
Love you back.
I like that handle.
The screen is dark today. If you're a lean mass hyperresponder and can't get into ketosis until after 24 hours, is there any health benefits to fasting less than that? Yes,
there are multiple health benefits. But keep in mind that the longer you fast, up to a limit of about 72 hours, you're going to increasingly reap those benefits. And so somebody has a daily fast of 16, 18, 20, 22 hours, they're going to reap benefits from that, even if they're not technically in ketosis. But I'll bet your ketones are 0.4, 0.5, and that you're keto adapted. In that case, your ketones are just fine.
Diane says, loved your Ozempic video.
Thank you. If you guys know any friends or relatives, loved ones, next door neighbors who are like, I think I'm going to get me some of that Ozempic, they better watch my Ozempic video. I posted it earlier today, and I go over all the potential problems with Ozempic, and I think that video will help them understand the cons, as well as, you're going to lose weight. That's a pro.
Rushman, I know how you feel about sunscreen, but I just use it to not get sunburnt. When I burn, I sometimes get a hillage, which is excruciating.
Same. Yep.
Any advice? So
it's called sun reaction, and I get that too if I burn really bad.
You don't have to use chemical sunscreen. You can use mineral sunscreen, and it's just basically zinc oxide. So you can still get that layer of protection. You need to reapply it if you're going to be out for hours and hours. If you're going to get in the water and such, it's probably the safest bet if you do feel the need to use some sort of sunscreen. Yeah,
and remember that a long sleeve shirt and a wide brim hat, that is excellent sunscreen, and has been proven not to cause cancer.
Yeah, we use the rash guards a lot for us and the kids.
Yeah. I want to get Deborah's. This is good. Will low to no carb benefit my sister who is on oxygen full time? So I actually have a video on this channel, Deborah, about COPD and the benefits of a ketogenic or a carnivore diet. This applies to chronic bronchitis, emphysema, COPD, asthma, or whether you've got mild intermittent asthma or chronic persistent severe asthma. Your lung function is going to improve when you remove all sugar from your diet and all grains from your diet and all vegetable seed oils from your diet. There are many people who used to have 3 or 4 inhalers they use like clockwork every day. Now they tell me, I don't even know where my albuterol inhaler is because I never need it anymore. If you know anything about lung health, you know that's the rescue inhaler. You keep that with you at all times. And she's like, I don't even know where my albuterol is anymore. I never use it. So I would highly recommend, if your sister's amenable, to let her try a Ketovore, or Carnivore diet.
Linda, daughter Crystal has ulcerative colitis and is going carnivore. Let's welcome her to our community.
Absolutely. This is the best decision she's made for her health, maybe in her whole life. Her ulcerative colitis symptoms are going to decrease so drastically, she's going to be blown away.
Leanne, any suggestions keeping up with the chat? So during our public live streams, which are on Monday nights, almost every single Monday night, there can usually get up to 4,000 people in the chat. It gets really busy. So if you really want a question answered, you can join our private community. Not necessary. We are going to always be on YouTube unless they kick us off, but you can join the community. And usually there's like 200 people in the chat. It's much less busy, more intimate. You can get more questions answered, and we have mentors in there as well.
Yes.
So I understand it can get a bit overwhelming in the chat on Monday nights, but we're glad you're here.
Speaking of that, let's get it up to 4,000 tonight. Have you hit that thumbs up yet?
Sarah. Interstitial cystitis or oxalate dumping, 18 days straight, bladder burning sensation, 6 months carnivore. What can help?
Yeah, until proven otherwise, Sarah, you may have a bladder infection. You need to go to your doctor and have a urinalysis checked and maybe some blood work too, depending on what your other symptoms are. Now, just because you have bladder burning doesn't mean you have a bladder infection, but that's the thing that could actually damage your kidneys if you do have that. So go get a urinalysis. I know you've probably done that 100 times in the past. But interstitial cystitis, sometimes you just cannot tell the difference between a UTI and chronic cystitis. So go get that checked.
Victoria.
Hey, thank you, Victoria.
What's up? I think she meant to ask a question and didn't know how to do it. Kimber, A1C was over 13, varices from FLD. The veins were very bulging in my esophagus.
So you got esophageal varicosities. Gotcha. So yeah, that is a product of the liver damage and potentially the heart damage that you suffered with your previous conditions. The fact that you've lowered her A1C was over 13. Now it's 7.2. Isn't that what it was?
What she said.
That's freaking Kimber. Oh my God. Huzzah, woman. Yes. Keep going. But you'll probably have to still see your doctor about the varicosities.
Artist, 28-year-old male, has GERD and gastritis for 2 years, also diagnosed with gallstones. Want to keep my gallbladder. Any advice on gallstones and GERD besides doing carnivore?
Yeah, carnivore, and realize that just having gallstones does not mean you ever have to have your gallbladder removed. Only if you have a gallbladder attack and you have a stone trapped in the cystic duct and it will not go through, then you might have to have your gallbladder out. But you can have your gallbladder on ultrasound or on a scan can look like a sack of rocks. I've seen people with 20 or 30 gallstones. They kept their gallbladder. They're like, it doesn't hurt me. I'm not having it out. And when I was a young doctor, I thought that was dumb. But now that I'm a little bit wiser, that's what these gray ones here mean. I'm supposed to have some wisdom. I realized that you can have gallstones your whole life and never have a gallbladder attack. Keep your gallbladder.
Vicky, won't eating that much meat raise your creatine on labs of a CKD stage 3A person, lowering their GFR.
This is what many doctors will tell you, but they'll blatantly say you can't eat too much meat. It's too much protein. It'll make your kidney function worse. But what we're seeing from tens of thousands of people reporting back to us and sending us a copy of the before and after labs is they started out with CKD 3A, 3B, 2, 1, and after increasing the amount of fatty red meat they eat and decreasing drastically the amount of carbohydrates they eat, their CKD improves. Their creatinine and their EGFR get better. That's what we see over and over, Vicky. Thank you, Robert.
Lori.
Thank you, Lori. Let me get this one right here. We already talked about ulcerative colitis. Another thing that responds beautifully to a carnivore diet. If you know anyone with Crohn's disease, please share my carnivore videos with them. It can literally change their life. Grateful girl. I'm a grateful boy. Grateful girl. Thank you. Victoria, is there any info if prolonged fasting, I did 12-day fast recently, could help with atherosclerosis, and autophagy could help get rid of plugs? So there's not a lot of research on longer fasting because there's no pill or injection to get a patent on at the end of that study. And so there hasn't been a lot of it done. The vast majority of fasting research has been done on people who practice Ramadan and who adhere to Ramadan. That's who the majority of the fasting research has been done on, just because they're going to fast anyway. I would highly recommend you, if you can do a 12-day fast, no sweat, and you've got atherosclerosis, yes, it's going to help that. It's going to be slow. It's not going to make it better in a few days, weeks, or months. It's going to take a year or two. Get a CAC score now, coronary artery calcium score, and then recheck it every 12 months. Eat a proper human diet and do your longer fasting, and you might be shocked at how much your CAC score goes down. Thanks, Robert.
Hey, guys, if you're trying to do a super chat and it keeps popping up and there's nothing in the box, go look up how to put a question in with your super chat, because
it's a little bit obtuse how to do it.
It's a YouTube thing. It's not in my control. I cannot fix that, unfortunately. Lori, 49-year-old female with type 1 osteogenesis imperfecta and hypothyroidism. I take K2, D3, iodine with low carb and weight-bearing exercise. Is there anything else I should be doing, and how low carb should I go?
So type 1 osteogenesis imperfecta, hypothyroid. Gotcha. And you don't mention any other health problems. So the way to know if you're low enough carb is to get an A1C checked and a fasting insulin checked. If they're both normal, and then you get a lipid panel and your triglycerides are also normal, you're low carb enough for you. That's one of the ways you can tell that. K2, D3, iodine, I like that. Make sure you're eating selenium rich foods. Any seafood is going to be selenium rich, that, and also has iodine as well. Sounds like you're doing a lot of stuff right, Lori. Keep it up.
Honeydew.
43-year-old female, 5'8", 130 pounds, with IBS-C. I'm now a Ketovore. Was an ER due to stomach pain. CT scan found colonic interposition, B-town, liver and anterior abdominal wall. Oh, between liver and anterior abdominal wall. GP said, not a concern. I wanted your opinion. So it just means that your colon is between the liver and the abdominal wall. This is this is rare, but it's not necessarily a complication or pathology. Some people's hepatic flexure just go like that, and it's, as long as you're not having pain or problems, it's probably nothing to worry about at all.
Ian, 35-year-old male, diagnosed with MS at 21, 265 pounds, housebound for years, started Lion Diet in January, now 210 pounds, running again. Fat and cholesterol help myelin? Absolutely,
yes. Your myelin sheath that wraps around and insulates every axon of every nerve in your body is made of fat. And that's why so many people with MS, when they adopt a higher fat keto or high fat carnivore, all of a sudden their MS symptoms start to get less severe. They have flare-ups much less often. And in many cases, they go from being housebound for years back to running and playing outside again. Huzzah, Ian. Huzzah.
Your new book. So if you're talking about the Proper Human Diet book,
it's right there. It's not done yet. I'm working on it.
However, if you need something new to read from Dr. Berry, he has co-wrote Kicking Ass After 50 with our buddy Zane Griggs, who is well, tell him about
it. He's a kind of a life coach, health coach, fitness coach.
And he's over 50.
Looks amazing. But, yeah, he's 52. Is that right, Zane?
He looks great.
He's badass. He's kicking ass. Yeah, absolutely. And so he and I got together. He lives in Nashville. So he reached out and he said, hey, let's write a book. I said, hey, let's do it.
So this is on Amazon, and it's geared towards men, but I think women could probably learn some stuff from this book as well. So if you want to buy it for your husband and maybe read it together, I don't know.
And so if the favorite thing in the house for him is the recliner, you can buy a copy of this and just leave it laying by the recliner. Like, I don't know where that came from. You should maybe look at it. There is a Kindle version coming. and there will be an audible version coming, which Zane and I will read. We will be the voices of the audible, since it's not in Las Vegas, it's in Nashville where we're going to record that.
So if you order
Neisha
this
will give me permission for that
on Amazon, if you get it before KetoCon, then they will sign it, because Zane is
Absolutely.
also going to be at KetoCon, so you can come
Absolutely.
hang out with them. Anonymous source.
My wife has an average blood pressure of 134/97. I want her to try aged garlic extract because it aids in nitric oxide production. Will that help bring her blood pressure down? Maybe a few points. Also, getting out in the sun every day helps produce more nitric oxide. Also, eating a diet full of fatty red meat helps produce nitric oxide. Also, lowering your carbohydrate intake will lower your insulin level, allowing a diuresis, which will then lower your blood pressure. So maybe put some of the aged garlic on the fatty red meat and then go outside in the sun and eat it. I love her 134. That's gorgeous. But the 97, if that's the average, that's still too high. Lower the carbs and try that aged garlic. I'm not opposed to it.
Sherry on a low carb journey, down 58.3 pounds since May. Keto.
Huzzah!
August, Triple B&E, now on April challenge, and then down 14 pounds in 2 weeks. People are starting to take me serious about the proper human diet. I'm pointing people to your videos.
That's it, Sherry. First you learn it, then you do it, then people see the results, and then you have this wonderful opportunity to teach it. Hey, Linda, thank you so much.
I know, guys. It's a very interesting. Super chats are kind of a
I
learning curve.
heard that buttermilk is good for the gut. Is this true? So first of all, if it's real home churned buttermilk, then it does have some live active cultures in it. That's why it's got that tangy flavor that I used to abhor as a child. Have you tried buttermilk in years? I haven't had it in years. We need to buy some.
I wanted
make
to
some.
love it.
Let's make some.
My grandma used to put her cornbread in it and eat it with a spoon. And I wanted
so
to love
good.
it. It
And Granny
great.
and Granddaddy just lap it up. Did Grandpa like it as well?
No, but
He
Granny.
didn't. Oh man.
Look,
And I would be like, Granny, give me some of that because it looked so good because they were making yummy smacky noises and stuff. And it was tasted like asshole. I just couldn't eat it. I'd like to try it again though.
Patrick, I've almost convinced my dear friend to try Triple B&E before going keto because she doesn't have a gallbladder. Will her IBS improve?
Yeah, IBS C or IBS D, Crohn's and ulcerative colitis all improve drastically with a good strict carnivore diet. Now, you can't be eating breaded meat. It needs to be meat, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. That's it. And I've got a shirt that says beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And if you'd like to get one too, there's a link for PhD merch down in the show notes.
Linda, thank you. Dimps the alien. Can diverticulosis heal and go away?
Good question. So diverticulosis is the condition of having diverticuli. It's not they're flared up and hurting and you're pooping blood and you got a fever. That's diverticulitis. So what gets better, Dimps, is that you just don't have diverticulitis anymore once you've adapted to carnivore is probably best if you've had multiple episodes of diverticulitis. But carnivore, meat-heavy carnivore and ketovore work as well for this. But you're going to still have the diverticulosis or the diverticuli, but they're just never going to get flared up again.
James, fastest way to get HDL up. HDL is 54,
that's pretty good, James.
Triglycerides 70,
LDL 245, CAC 130, 140 pounds, down from 205 pounds. A1C is 5.5. So your A1C is beautiful. You've lost your weight. Sounds like you're back to normal weight. Your CAC is above 100, so it's a problem. But you're going to slow down the progression of your CAC score by eating a proper human diet. So it's going to, instead of being next year being 160, it's going to be 135, or it may even be below 130. Get it checked in 12 months and see. Your trigs are great. The way you're going to raise your HDL is to eat more fatty red meat and lift heavy things. That's how you're going to raise it up. Get it up to 60.
Fatima.
Hi, all. My husband has a small 9-millimeter nodule on the liver. Has chronic Hep B, otherwise healthy. Any advice? So this is almost a centimeter nodule. You want to follow this with your doctor. But typically in the liver, if something is a nodule, it's virtually never cancer. But they do need to follow it up with repeat scans just to make sure. If he's eating a proper human diet, then he was on the road to chronic hepatitis and cirrhosis and liver failure. but he may be able to stop the chronic hep B damage right here, right now in its tracks. And it's very possible that this nodule could shrink and get smaller on a proper human diet.
I see 2 crazy ketos in the chat. Are y'all gonna be? You are. I know you are.
Joe
you
and
know
Rachel.
why I know? Because I told Beckett.
Yeah, Beckett's so excited to see
Can't wait to see
Rachel.
our Miss Rachel.
Our Rachel, that's right. Not so much Joe, but Rachel for sure.
He's excited.
Love you, Joe.
Hi, Ash. How to deal with toxic family on a new diet and mindset. I'm sorry that you were having to deal with this along with everything else.
So many people have to deal with toxic family comments and looks and innuendo. You would think that families wouldn't do that to each other, wouldn't you? But some families do. And that's why some people just find a new family. This is a strategy that people have been adopting for, I don't know, since before recorded history, probably. If your tribe is mean to you and treats you like shit, you can go find a new tribe. And I'm not, you may be stuck, Ashley. I don't know all your details, but I definitely would branch out and look for new people you can adopt as your family if your family is going to act like this. There's no excuse for this. Your family's supposed to love you unconditionally, right? Am I right about that?
I think, it depends on how the family is approaching this. Are they coming from a place of love? Then take the time to explain that this is actually, this is okay. And you're not going to cause damage to your heart and your kidneys and whatever they're concerned about. But if they're just causing you pain, then I think distance would be where you need to start with and be like, until you can support me, then we need to take a break. Yeah,
I'll still show up for Thanksgiving and Christmas and your birthday, but otherwise, you're kind of pushing me away. So I'm going to hear you you're pushing me away. I assume you're doing that by choice. So I'm going to allow that to happen, and I'm going to go look for a new family I can adopt.
You still need support. You need to find.
Yeah, you got to have a family, and you've got the tribe, Ashley.
Yeah. Brittany, are tanning beds safe?
Yeah, as long as you don't ever burn in the tanning bed, as long as you don't try to get a tan as dark as you possibly can from a tanning bed, as long as you're going for a golden, healthy tan and to improve your mood and to get some vitamin D in the dead of winter, I think tanning beds are completely fine. And I think the research supports my opinion on that. Don't ever get a burn. Don't ever stay too long. Just like the same laws you would follow in the sunlight. Pound for pound beast. Got my blood work back. Everything got better after 3 months of carnivore. I've lost 30 pounds. Huzzah. EGFR 98, 95.8, trigs 98, HDL 42, but LDL went up to 2301. I feel the best ever, but my practitioner is concerned, aka crapping their pants with my LDL number. You mean 230, right? You don't mean 2301, because that'd be by far and away the highest LDL I've ever seen. What should I do? So I've got multiple videos about LDL cholesterol and why you shouldn't freak out if yours is high while eating a proper human diet in the face of having normal metabolic health. And so if you've got a normal A1C, a normal fasting insulin, your weight's down to normal now, your triglycerides are 98, that's normal. Your HDL is still a little low, but you're going to improve that by eating more fatty red meat and starting to lift heavy things, pound for pound. Beast, you may already do that, but lift harder if you're not doing that. And keep learning, keep researching, keep studying. There is some research ongoing right now. There's multiple studies actually about high LDL in the face of otherwise being metabolically healthy. I wouldn't worry. Void Maine. Can I take analgesics on keto? Also, thank you. You literally saved my life. It's my pleasure, Void Maine. That's actually my job as a doctor, is to help people save their own life, which is what you actually did. Analgesics, if you want to take Tylenol occasionally, I think it's fine. If you want to take ibuprofen or Advil, Motrin, Aleve, occasionally, I think it's fine. But what you want to absolutely avoid is taking any of those things every day or multiple times a week, because they absolutely have known side effects. They will absolutely damage your liver and kidneys. You will pay for that if you take them too often. If you're eating a proper human diet, your aches and pains should be lessened enough that you only need analgesics once a month, once every 2 or 3 months. And I think that's fine.
Betsy wants to know if you're signing copies at KetoCon. So we will have, Eliza, my doctor told me there, I think we're going to have some labs books.
Yep.
Some of mine and Kim's cookbooks.
And
is Zane going to bring some of these?
I think Zane hopefully is bringing some kicking ass after 50 books as well. so that you can get one signed for your hubby who's in the recliner right now?
You don't have to buy the book at KetoCon to get it signed. If you already have a copy,
bring it.
Yes. And we'll be at the booth, at certain times of the day. So
absolutely. James, is high cholesterol the body's way of responding to and trying to repair inflammatory damage and not the cause of it? Yeah, James. So LDL cholesterol in particular is used very, very much by your immune system. Okay, we know this for a fact in human physiology and immune system health. Having a high LDL may be protective. We actually know that people with high LDLs live longer, have less cancer, have less autoimmune diseases. And so there's tons of research being done on this right now by researchers with fresh eyes going, wait a minute, I know blah, 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 LDL, but let me actually look and see what the research shows, what the actual evidence shows. And so I think over the next year or 2 or 3, you guys are all going to be hearing about a new LDL study coming out showing that high LDL actually does something good or multiple things good. That's my prediction. Johnny, thoughts on grass-fed beef compared to lamb? Yes. Enjoy both. Either way, you win.
Keeps refreshing. Valerie.
Thank you, Valerie.
Jennifer,
thank you so much for your teachings. I've been able to help a couple of people recently who have been given extremely poor medical care, specifically your guidance and research and the PhD. That's what I want all you guys doing. If you've got a friend or a loved one who's suffering at the hands of a doctor or a dietitian, please gently, lovingly, diplomatically reach out and say, hey, I think that I've got some information that might help you. There's this crazy redneck doctor on YouTube. And you might be in the same boat Jennifer is, where she's literally changing people's life. Wendy, my son was born with bilateral cleft lip, only VSD, TEF, and suffers from asthma. He loves all the fatty meats, but suffers from bad reflux. Can Carnivore help him? He's 11 now, 100%. The more you get the sugar and the grains and the vegetable seed oils and all the fruit juices out of his diet, and all the fatty red meat and the eggs with the yolk into his diet, his reflux is going to get better and better and better. Okay. It's going to put him in a state of ketosis, which means he has ketones circulating in his bloodstream. Did you know that his heart muscle cells actually beat more efficiently on ketones than they do by burning glucose? So absolutely, yes. Do it slowly over a month or 2 or 3. There's no rush. Every time you go to the grocery, buy more keto carnivore stuff and less junky stuff, and let it be a loving, slow transition.
Kevin says, thank you for all that you do. Just wanted to show support.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Angelica Annihilator, thoughts on the notion of vitamin D resistance?
Yeah, I'm not real sure what physiological principle they try to base this on or what research, but because there's none of either. Vitamin D is actually not a vitamin. It is a pro-hormone, a pre-hormone. It does hundreds of things in your body. As long as your vitamin D 25 level is between 50 and 100, your body is going to love you for that. It's going to use that vitamin D to do lots of healthy things and prevent lots and lots of disease. So don't worry about vitamin D resistance.
Let's give a shout out to Matt Ant. Lost 77 pounds since May 5th, eating a proper human diet, and I feel like I saved my own life.
Yep.
I've never been happier or healthier. Thank you both for all you do. Huzzah! KM, LDLP is 2,000. All other blood work is good. A1C is 5.4, triglyceride 75, CAC was 0. I've been keto. We'll go in carnivore and make this work.
No, it's going to make it better. First of all, you're so metabolically healthy. I don't really care about the LDLP number. What I would predict is it's going to improve if you either continue keto or if you go carnivore. Either way, it's going to continue to improve because you fix so much other stuff.
RW.
Go ahead, baby.
Where do you get your meat? Thoughts on prime versus choice? Is grass-fed, grass-finished worth the extra cost? On carnivore, is egg white, no sugar, protein powder okay? On occasion, bacon need to be uncured? ?
Yeah, so we buy regular bacon at the store.
Well, we used to.
Yeah,
I have to make an effort now to buy better, but that doesn't mean that the other isn't good.
That's exactly right. Human beings have been curing meat with salt, which is what nitrates are. It's a salt. Okay, we've been doing that for over 8,000 years.
The reason I made a change is because I'm more concerned with the humanely raised pork.
Yep.
That the pig lived in a pasture, and that's why I'm buying the better pork, because we can afford to support those farmers.
Right.
So we should. But if your budget limits you to something that is just from, the bacon aisle, that's still going to give you benefits.
Absolutely. Yeah. But all you guys out there, if you can afford to buy pastured pork and pastured eggs and grass finished beef, please do so. It is slightly healthier. It's not that the grocery store bacon is bad. It's just slightly less good than pastured pork. Okay. So vote with your dollars. If you got the dollars, please buy pastured meats. If you can't afford it, buy the cheapest meat you can afford and eat all of it that you can.
So we buy Peterson's pork. That's where I get our pork from.
So
we
good.
buy local beef, and then we have our own chickens, and so we don't have to buy eggs. And then we also have lamb that we raise, so we don't have to buy lamb meat either. We have those.
And we've got 10 new Rhode Island red little chicks that we've got out in the incubator. And Neisha actually has some video of them with Beckett holding one and her holding one. So if you want to see some cute baby chicks, check out Neisha's channel. You're going to love it.
Lots of chicken stuff going on my channel these days.
Yep.
ZK, what do you recommend for H. pylori or low stomach acid?
So if you have low stomach acid, then stop taking any acid blockers that you might be taking, whether these are prescription or over the counter. Stop all of those. Those are not helping you at all. Secondly, if you think you still have low stomach acid, then you should get that verified, because the vast majority of people are, when they're told by a naturopath, oh, you've got low stomach acid, you need to take these supplements that I happen to sell. If you actually went to a doctor and had an EGD and they actually did check your acidity, you don't have low stomach acid. This is very often one of the part of the mythology that naturopaths will talk about. There's something bad wrong with you if you're not producing enough stomach acid or you're taking an acid blocker. H. pylori in the face of a highly inflammatory, high carb diet is bad. Okay. Now all you guys who are older, you remember back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, people had bleeding ulcers all the time. Now you hardly ever hear of a bleeding ulcer anymore. Why is that? I thought H. pylori was causing all that, but I guarantee you, if you lined up 1,000 Americans and checked H. pylori, probably 400 of them have got H. pylori, but nobody has bleeding ulcers anymore. And so my contention is, if you eat a proper human diet, I don't care if you're H. pylori or positive or not, it's not going to harm you at all. H. pylori is part of the normal gut flora in human beings. It's been there for a long damn time. It was only there for just a few years where it started causing lots of disease, but now that seems to have calmed down. So I wouldn't worry about it. And also, if you really think you've got low stomach acid, get that checked.
Do you have any announcements?
Announcements. I'm going to be at KetoCon. We covered that.
We did.
I've got a new book that's out now. Oh, yeah, we covered Kicking Ass After 50. There's a link in the show notes if you want to check it out.
Cruise.
It'll be on the cruise. That's right. If you want to go on the cruise with us.
No.
Oh, no.
No more people. There's no more room on the ship.
Oh, it's sold out.
Yes.
Oh, man.
But
Sorry.
Orlando, we will be there in August for the Keto Orlando. So do you have that?
Yes, I do. Right there.
We have a discount code. It's MEAT, MEAT.
Yep.
KetoOrlandoSummit.com. Are we going to be anywhere else?
Yep.
Where?
We are. I'm pulling it up right now.
Oh, Dixon, Tennessee.
Yep, we're going to be in Dixon.
I don't know what the date for that
I don't know if you can see this.
It's August 26th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in Dixon, Tennessee.
Low carb for better health.
I will post that in the group for you guys that are inside the group if you're in the Tennessee area and you want to.
It's actually at Montgomery Bell State Park Inn in Burns, Tennessee. It's just up the road from Dixon, Tennessee. But the website is
you don't have that on the banner.
lc4bh.com. That's a terrible website. Okay, we'll post it in our private group if any of you guys want to come, and then I'll make a post on my YouTube community feed with this, so you can actually look that up, because who can remember that?
Nobody.
Okay.
We'll work on. Well, it's not our summit, by the way. None of these are our summits.
Yeah,
we just will be there. So if you don't like something, please, it's not my fault. I didn't do it.
John, for some people, is there such thing as obesity-induced type 2? In other words, if you keep the weight off, your diabetic symptoms are remiss. So, John, in my opinion, looking at the human physiology of this, obesity and type 2 diabetes go hand in hand for most people, not all people. Some people can be very slender, John, and still have severe type 2 diabetes. This is less common, but it is absolutely still possible in some people. And that's why I tell all people, anybody, if you're over the age of 35 or 40, I don't care if you're fat as a house or skinny as a rail, get your A1C and fasting insulin checked after the age of 35 or 40, because you can be slender and apparently very healthy when someone looks at you from across the room and still be pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic. So they do tend to travel together, John, but not always. Not always.
Are you going to be at the Omaha thing this year?
No, I can't go to Omaha this year.
I
I already
remember.
talked to Jamie. I'm sad that I can't go.
Bruce, carnivore since January 1, just had blood work. A1C is 4.9. Boom.
Beautiful.
Triglycerides 96.
Beautiful.
Doc won't run insulin. Total cholesterol 398. LDL 333. HDL 43. Family is concerned. My mother-in-law is a retired nurse. How high LDL is too high? New tribe member.
Welcome to
Bruce.
the tribe, Bruce. This is a great question to talk about in the group. We're going to be live inside the group tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central on a crowdcast. So you can join us then and we can talk about this in more detail. But between now and then, Bruce, I want you to just go to YouTube and type in the search bar, Dr. Berry LDL. And it'll pull up every video I've made about this topic. And the more you watch, and perhaps the more you share with your mother-in-law, gently and lovingly, because we got to keep peace, then maybe you'll understand this better and not be afraid, and she'll understand it better and not, I don't want to say nag, but because I'm sure she's too nice for that, but you know what I'm saying.
Dawn, what's up, Dawn?
Hey, Dawn, thank you.
Sunny?
Can eating carnivore help with hirsutism from PCOS symptoms or supplements without resorting to meds or treatments? So, Sonny, I've got a video on this YouTube channel about PCOS, okay? It's all about hyperinsulinemia and chronic inappropriate inflammation, okay? You get that by eating a high-carbohydrate inflammatory diet. So whether you adopt a meat-heavy ketogenic diet or a ketovore diet or a carnivore diet, all of your PCOS symptoms are going to improve. And also don't forget that the odds that you'll get preggers go up when you're eating a proper human diet. Don't they, darling?
Yes. I have a little 9-month-old to prove it.
Yeah. We thought we were done.
I really thought I was done, for sure.
Not done. Maybe still not done.
I am done. Allie, I'm reversed. 12.4 to 5.4 A1C in 3 months. Been 5.2 for 2 years.
Huzzah!
Allie.
That's
Shout
awesome.
out to
Awesome.
Allie. Jonna.
I was diagnosed as type 2 last year, but I'm getting better. Went from 345 pounds down to 238 pounds. That's over 100 pounds lost right there, folks. Currently, fasting C-peptide is 1.92. That's good. With a fasting glucose of 70 per blood test, per blood draw. But what was your A1C, John? We got to know what your A1C was. Your C-peptide is good, but we need a fasting insulin and a A1C. But it sounds like you're moving in the right direction, brother. Keep it up. Huzzah!
Thanks. And Debbie. Body uric acid meter. I can't do that.
7.3 to 8.8. Should I be concerned? Blood glucose is under 90. Less than 15 grams of carbs a day. Have lost 59 pounds total. Uric acid, #bothering me. So uric acid is used by many things in the human body. In my study and research into anthropology, primatology, actually, there are multiple lines of mammals that stop making the uricase enzyme, which breaks down uric acid. And we did that for a reason, okay? There's an evolutionary reason that we did that. And we actually benefited from that. We benefit from having higher uric acid. So I don't think that elevated uric acid is the big deal that other people out there tend to pretend it is. Your body uses uric acid as a antioxidant. It has many, many functions in your body. And we actually don't make uricase, which breaks down uric acid. We don't make that for a reason, actually multiple reasons. So stop freaking out about this. Your other numbers are gorgeous. You're eating a proper human diet. Keep doing what you're doing.
Have you hit the thumb? Have you shared this video with a friend? If you haven't, please do so.
Don't you finger scooch
Well,
me.
you didn't do the right one.
Vicky says, just because you deserve it, I wish it were more.
Aw,
Vicky, thank you so much. Let me tell all you guys, if you're like, I would love to send a super chat, but I'm kind of broke as a joke. She and I have both been broke as a joke multiple times
Not that long ago.
in our life. Yes, we understand completely. The way you can help us if you can't send a super chat is to hit the thumbs up every time you see one of our videos. Always leave a comment or ask a question on every video. And then there's a little button down here, I think, that says share. Click that button and share this video to your favorite social media. That helps us just as much as sending a super chat if you can afford it. So thank you for any amount of help that any of you guys give us to get this word out there to help people improve their health. Don't cry, baby.
I've got an eyelash in my eye.
Marcia, I'm Ketovore and dropped 100 pounds. And my A1C is 5.2 when it used to be 9.3. Huzzah. Weight loss is stalled, but I still feel great. Marcia stalled after she's lost 100 pounds. That's a good problem to have, Marcia. Keep up the good work.
Rube's Workshop.
63-year-old carnivore for 3 weeks, have leaky gut and fairly severe candida. Any guess as to how long I'll be eating Tums? Hopefully not for much longer. If you've been carnivore for 3 weeks, that's about the turnaround point at which leaky gut goes away, SIBO goes away, the gut starts to heal and calm down. And then also, if you do have some candidal overgrowth, candida does not like it when you eat lots of meat and eggs with the yolk. It wants you to eat carbs. Candida, all funguses love sugar. And so when you cut out all the sugar, the candida is short to this world and also short to your body. It'll be gone very, very soon. Keep up the great
people
work.
don't believe you. He really is working on the book. This isn't the whole thing. This is just some sections.
I'm working on the book. I promise it's coming.
It's real. I promise.
Neisha yells at me enough. I don't need you guys jumping on board.
Don't yell.
Gail says, I heard you mention a few nuts. What kind? So you want the lowest carbohydrate nuts that you can eat that have been. Now, let me just tell you this. All nuts are the seeds of a tree or a plant, right? Those plants don't want you to eat their baby seeds because that's how they reproduce and don't go extinct. So they're going to put anti-nutrients in there. They're going to put inflammatory toxins in there like lectins, phytates, oxalates. So if you're going to eat nuts, make sure the nuts have either been sprouted, soaked, roasted, or some combination of all three of those before you eat them. I saw a guy the other day. He's like, no, I only eat raw almonds. And I was like, okay, good. We'll stop that immediately. Never eat a raw nut. That is no bueno. Nuts are seeds. Their plant will hurt you with the oxalates, lectins, phytates in there if you don't roast, soak, and sprout. You got to do those things, okay? That's why our ancestors did it.
Watson, have you considered dual streaming to Rumble and YouTube? I understand that Rumble will give creators 100% of the donations through the end of 2023, but that's amazing.
Yeah, hey Watson, this is live streaming right now on Rumble and on Odyssey. As far as I know, I'll check after this is over. But all of my videos, if any of you guys are like not really in love with YouTube, but you like we're the only thing you watch, all my videos are also on Rumble, and all my videos are also on Odyssey. I don't know why it does that. That's weird, right?
Yep.
This one next.
Yes.
Okay. Shadow of the day. Been eating butter sticks as a snack on Carnivore. Not too many. Just one a day and not every day. Enough to satisfy in addition to regular meals. Family says it'll give me a heart attack. Any thoughts? Yeah, your family's wrong. Now, you don't have to tell them that. You don't have to say, Dr. Berry said you wrong. Don't do that. Just smile and nod as you take another bite of your butter. Butter is literally a gift from the creator. There's nothing in butter that increases your risk of heart disease, liver disease, kidney disease, brain disease, or any disease. It is the best part of dairy.
What I like to do is shove my labs in people's faces and be like, really? Because mine look better than yours. Enjoy your cupcake.
Exactly. Is it okay to eat garlic and chili on a carnivore diet? For the vast majority of people, Frantic, it's totally fine to use seasonings and spices as long as they're sugar-free and as low carb as possible. Now, some few people have a reaction to nightshades or have a reaction to this, to the I forgot what it's called in chili. the chilies, the hot chilies. But if you love them and you don't seem to have any reaction and your lab numbers are getting better and your health is improving, I think it's perfectly fine to use spices and seasonings on a carnivore diet. I use them all the time, but we have friends who cannot use them or it will cause an autoimmune flare-up. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Philip. Denise, mom of 4 without a gallbladder, do I need to take ox bile or can I go without in order to absorb fat, soluble vitamins on the PhD? So your liver is still making plenty of bile, Denise. You've just lost the storage function of the gallbladder and the concentration function of the gallbladder. But over months and years after having a cholecystectomy, your gallbladder out, the hepatic ducts actually dilate and take on a storage capacity. They're never as good as having a gallbladder. That's why you need to keep your gallbladder if all possible. But yes, you might benefit from ox bile, but there are tens of thousands of people out there eating keto, ketovore, carnivore, high fat, and they haven't had a gallbladder and they do great. So you might need it initially, but not long term. Ashley, how do trusting hunger signals and trauma relate? So trauma, whether psychological or physical, makes you not trust yourself, right? That's one of the many things it can do is make you question everything, question your judgment, question your belief. I don't even know if I understand what's going on. So I think that people who have had trauma in the past of whatever kind, have had an eating disorder in the past, of whichever kind, I think that trusting your hunger and basically letting go and saying, look, I'm hardwired to do this. Just as much so as the deer out in the woods or the bear in the mountains or the coyote out in the hills. I'm wired to be hungry when I'm hungry and to be full when I'm full. And I think for many people, just that taking that step, that leap of faith and be like, okay, I'm going to listen to this crazy redneck doctor. I'm just going to trust my hunger. I think that can teach you, oh, my body and my mind, they're not going to just betray me at every turn. I can actually trust my hunger hormones and trust my satiety hormones to tell me when I'm hungry and when I'm full. And if that's true, then maybe I can trust other parts of me as well, including maybe my intellectual ability, maybe my personality, maybe I can trust that I'm a good person, regardless of what's been said or done to me in the past. Does that help? Lola, just found out I have H. pylori. Please help. How can I get rid of it with this without antibiotics unless I have any advice? So if you're having severe gastritis, if you're having a bleeding ulcer, either gastric or duodenal, then you need to take the full H. pylori round, including the antibiotics. Okay? If you don't have any of those, you're like, no, I have no symptoms at all. My stomach doesn't hurt. I'm not pooping blood or throwing up blood. You probably don't need to do anything about the H. pylori at all. H. pylori is part of the normal human gut flora. It has been in the human gut for thousands of years. This is not a new thing that just popped up. We recently discovered it back in the 70s. And then we in the 80s and 90s thought, oh man, we've got to eradicate H. pylori. But more and more so, I'm seeing this ignored by very smart doctors. So like, are you having any gut symptoms? If the patient says no, they're like, I don't care if you have H. pylori. It's not a big deal. Gail, is it normal for T3 levels to drop below normal when on a carnivore diet? All of my lab markers are normal except for that one. Yeah, and we believe that what's going on here is that you just don't need as much T3 to do the job. And so your T3 level backs up a little bit. And this doesn't happen in everybody, but it does happen in a few people. But invariably, these people, Gail, don't have any low thyroid symptoms whatsoever. They're like, no, I feel great, but my T3 is just low. And we see this on meat-heavy keto, ketovore, carnivore. If you're having low thyroid symptoms, then you need to have the full thyroid panel that I talk about in the Common Sense Labs book. If you don't have that book, there's a link in the show notes. But if you have no thyroid symptoms, don't worry about it. Thank you, KAF. Shadow of the day. Grandma also says red meat will cause cancer and that the diet overall will kill me early and that I should trust what heart doctors say. What are your thoughts on this? So I actually have a video, Shadow of the Day, on this channel about red meat and cancer, red meat and heart disease, processed meat and cancer. All these things are myths. They are medical myths. They are lies your doctor told you. Don't say that to grandma. Be very respectful to grandma. But maybe you could say, I found this video. This country doctor in Tennessee talking about red meat and cancer. Let's watch it together, Grandma. Just a thought. Which one next? Marcel. Marcel lost 15 kg and A1C down to 6.0 from 15. Oh my God, it was terrible. After being a carnivore for 9 months. Yep. Started exercising 3 times a week and doing 10,000 steps a day. Feel fatigued and have not lost weight in 4 months. Any advice? So you have improved your metabolic health almost a miraculous amount. Now I need you to take a daily dose of vitamin P. That means have some patience. Okay. Give your body time to continue to heal metabolically. Make sure that you're truly eating low carb enough for you. Make sure you're eating plenty of healthy animal fat and animal protein. If you're hungry, eat. If you're full, don't eat. And repeat. Keep doing that and have some patience, and the weight loss will come. Now, if you're still stalled after that, I've got a video on this channel called The 13 Reasons Why Your Weight Loss Might Stall. Investigate all 13 of those reasons with your doctor. We're almost at 4,000 peeps. Come on, guys. Hit that thumbs up. Brian, is it possible to get too much calcium from natural sources? I don't think so. I think it's just like any other mineral. If you get a little bit too much from natural sources, you're just going to pee it out. That's what our urinary system is for. Now, if you're taking a calcium supplement, you can absolutely get too much very, very quickly. But from natural sources, like using eggshells as a calcium source like we do, I don't think you're ever going to get too much calcium from doing that. Linda, I have had lesions on my legs, which we diagnosed as chronic. Greatly improved by keto carnivore line diet. I have tested eggs, butter, chicken, and pork unsuccessfully. Lesions have returned. So the lion diet is beef or lamb, goat, salt, and water. You probably need to go back to the lion diet and see if the lesions won't go away again. If they do not go away, then you need to go to a dermatologist and have your lesions biopsied. Okay, this may not be from your diet. This may be some other undiagnosed dermatological condition. Okay. Thank you, Brandy. Stacy, how will keto affect HSV? It's going to lessen the symptoms, lessen the flare-ups.
Carnivore will lessen them even
Absolutely. More. Absolutely. Frank. What about mTOR on carnivore? Any concerns? No. mTOR was the latest boogaboo that the plant-based people tried to throw up. It's been completely discounted. It's not an issue. It's not a problem whatsoever. It's one of the many lies they throw out there to try to scare you away from eating a proper human diet. Don't fall for it.
Hey, we finally hit 4,000.
4,000!
Right before we're done.
Huzzah. Mark, today is day 1 of the proper human diet for the wife and I. Absolutely love it. Glucose consistently at 190, and at the end of the day, it sits at 120. So down 70 points in one day. Why can't my stupid brain process that the PhD is what I need for good? It takes a minute, Mark. It takes all of us a minute, okay? When I was first reading about all this stuff back in the day, I was like, this can't be right. How can this be right? This can't be right. But it's right. And
also, the sugar and processed foods are meant to keep you eating them and
Absolutely.
eating a lot of them and craving them.
Absolutely.
So you're fighting several demons here.
Absolutely. So you and Mama Cat, you do this together. Y'all hold hands and go right through the fire together. It's going to be a lot of fun on the other end. DJ, good evening. Started carnivore beginning of January. I am 6'7" and 450 pounds. I have no underlying conditions except bad knees. Doc is leery that I'm doing this. I'm not seeing any weight loss. How long before I should start seeing results?
You're doing what kind of carnivore?
Yeah, so you need to be eating only beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Drinking water, black coffee, unsweet tea. That's it. Nothing else. Okay, you need to do that for 90 days. And if you'll go to my YouTube channel after this video and just type in BBBE, stands for beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. There's a video that'll explain that to you. You need to stick to that strictly. You can eat as much as you want. If you're hungry, eat. If you're not, then don't eat if you're not hungry. You can eat 2 meals a day, 1 meal a day, or 3 meals a day. You're going to lose weight unless you have a medical condition that's preventing you from losing weight. You've got lots of extra fat. You know you can lose. Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs for the win. Michael, can you do weight training while extended fasting 5 to 7 days? Absolutely. Be a little more careful if you're on a a 5-day or longer fast. Don't be trying to hit PRs because you could get a little lightheaded. Most people don't, but you could. So just be careful. But yeah, if you're fasting 1 or 2 or 3 days, you can absolutely work out like a maniac. But if you're doing a longer fast, I'd maybe keep it at 80%, Michael. It's just me. Just a thank you. I've lost 35 pounds since finding you guys. Huzzah! I have long COVID symptoms, and I do not feel as great as most people say they do on Carnivore, not yet at least. Yeah, and long COVID can make you feel like crap for a long time. If anything is going to lessen and minimize the long COVID symptoms, I think a proper human diet might do that.
Thank you for the super chat.
Yes, thank you very much.
I'm done here.
Yep, we're done, guys. We got to go. Baby Beckett and baby Bonnie Blue are going to be here momentarily. Let's get one more moment, then we're done. Tuna Boy, for someone who have colon fistula, I think you meant infection, keep coming back. Any suggestions? Thanks. Yeah. So follow up regular with your doctor, Tuna Boy, for sure. But you've got to adopt a proper human diet. For you, carnivore's the way. Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Okay, because all that stuff is completely digested and absorbed before it ever gets to your colon. So it's not going to irritate the fistula at all. And also you're going to be eating essentially a zero sugar, zero carbohydrate diet. So the bacteria that are living in that fistula, they're not going to have any sugar to eat. So they're going to say, to hell with this, and they're going to go somewhere else. Try it for 90 days and then give me an update, Tuna Boy.
Well, let's just let Karen give you a...
Karen, yes, watch the chicken video and the new coop. Dr. Ken Berry, you are completely buff, buddy.
If you want to see Dr. Berry buff, you can watch my chicken video, I guess.
The chicken coop video. Yeah, I don't pick it up or anything. I'm just walking around looking at the chicken coop. But yeah, thank you for that, Karen. Thank you. All right, guys, that's out. If you did not get enough of this tonight, we're going to be live again tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. inside of our private community. There's a link in the show notes. And
However,
then again, I'll be live three times on Wednesday,
No, you will not.
typically, but
we will be in Austin, Texas this week, so we'll only be in the group on Tuesday night this week. We'll catch back up with you next week.
yes. And but typically I do 4 live Q&As every week inside the private community. So if you need more help, if you need a community of people that will take you by the hand and walk with this on this journey with you, that's where you find them at.
You have to go to the website on the screen.
drberry.com/community.
It's not through YouTube. It's not through Google. It's through that website.
It's not
So if
Patreon.
you're doing anything on any other website, that's not it.
Yeah.
And we're trying to make this as simple as possible.
Right there.
drberry.com/community. It's a part of the Mighty Network. So yeah, if you're interested, cool. If not, we'll see you back here
Monday night.
but not next Monday.
That's right. We'll be on the road. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Love you, mean it. Sorry.